What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside. It still happens. When the smoke doesn't go off, I'm still so anxious of when is it going to pop?
At any moment. There we go.
Jesus,
there we go.
It's going to get you. You know it's coming for you
beauty.
eventually. Good job, Kev. Alongside Forbes 30 Under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the verified one at Tim Geddes.
Let Tim host, Greg. It feels good to be back at this desk with you for a fairly normal, semi-post Summer Game Fest Kinda Funny Games Daily. We're still kind of in it, but the real event is over. We're back home. We've covered all of the major showcases. The extended Xbox showcase is happening right now, and if
of course
news drops from that, I'm sure the chat will alert us. We'll talk about it. I'm very, very fingers crossed for some Hi-Fi Rush DLC. It feels like a lock.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah, of course, Xbox Showcase is something we love and respect around here and encourage people to go watch when they can. The problem with us live reacting to Xbox Showcase is they just talk the entire time. So it's not trailery, so you can't really get in there and have a conversation because you just be talking over hosts and developers talking at the same time. So historically, we do our thing and then either cover it, as it breaks a little bit on the show, or tomorrow we'll have a roundup for you. But I was trying to work on a tweet on the way to work today, and I just couldn't get one that I enjoyed. But it's just the idea that if there was any doubt that Summer Game Fest, SGF, is in fact the new E3, you can lay it to rest because I have no idea what weekday it is.
I have no idea, Greg. It's weird. You're right. I haven't had this feeling in years since the in-person E3s, probably since 2019, where it's Tuesday today. That makes absolutely no sense. I feel like any other day of the week, I'd believe more than it being a Tuesday right now.
Going home last night, I was like, well, now the weekend begins. And I was like, wait, no, I think it's Monday. I saw a tweet from WWE about Monday Night Raw, and I was like, oh, fuck, it's Monday. Shit. Son of a bitch. And then I got in the car today, and I'm like, I feel like, oh, man, I'm so behind on Greg Ways. And I'm like, wait, no, I think I've only missed one technically, but it was Friday was a travel day, and this, that, and the other. It's Tuesday, and it's just like, good Lord. Yeah. What a time to be alive. What a time to be out here.
The chat is popping off saying that Hi-Fi Rush something did just get announced.
No, I think what the chat said is that Hi-Fi Rush is confirmed to be there today.
Ooh, okay, cool.
So they are confirmed to be there.
Okay.
Of course, Tina, formerly of IGN, now of Xbox, is hosting it right now too, and so people are popping off about it.
Great running into her at Summer Game Fest.
Always good.
She's so awesome. Her and the team over there are absolutely crushing it, and it's just very cool to see the industry start to kind of I think get it a little bit more. And look, we see examples of that not being the case. But I love that they do these extended things after the showcase too.
Sure.
Get those developer interviews that people do want, but they're not really best suited to be at the actual big showcase itself. So to have another thing using the internet the way that they are, having their YouTube channels and all that stuff, and having the right people kind of host and be involved in producing it all, I think it's really, really fantastic to see.
I love it. And it's been a great move on Xbox's part to give you the high five, I was going to say, the high level pitches on all this stuff, and then dial in. Right now, apparently it is Cyberpunk. They're doing a deep dive to show you why Phantom Liberty is important. Of course, maybe you know that because yesterday on the Kinda Funny Games cast, it's available right now on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames. And of course, podcast services around the globe. We did a live look at our games of SGF, and we all came in with giant laundry lists of games. We got through 8. From all 5 of us, we got through 8 games that got their due time. Hey, we're actually going through and telling you a whole bunch of stuff. They got the allotted amount of time we wanted to give them, and then we got to quick shout outs where we shoved games in and did a bunch of stuff. Of course, I talked a lot about Alan Wake, which I love from Remedy. You talked about Viewfinder, published by Thunderful Games, developed by Sad Owl Studios. But I want us to do for the rest of the week here. At the top of this, we can talk about a game if there's one that didn't get to you. Tim, what SGF game did you not talk about that you'd like to talk about now? Just one, not forever, not for a long time, but just to keep the good vibes going.
I would want to talk about this forever, but I'll keep it short and sweet for you, Greg. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Oh. It's a game that was announced a while back. I don't remember exactly where. I think it might have been one of the Final Fantasy VII anniversaries, where this game is essentially, it's a mobile game. You can also play it on iPad, all those things go. But it's a remake of Final Fantasy VII that's not Final Fantasy VII Remake. It is a authentic, true, we're just retelling the actual plot story of the original game, but they're also telling the story of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, which includes Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus and whatever else is in there. I don't know if it includes Advent Children. It's Final Fantasy VII, Greg. It gets kind of complicated, okay? Yeah. But what's cool about it is the moment we saw it, it was like, mobile, I don't really care. And I was like, wait a minute. Sounds kind of cool. This looks kind of cool. I'm kind of into this. it is a very authentic remake from what we've seen of the original Final Fantasy VII. And I actually got to play the first chapter of it. And I have maybe more questions now than I did going in. And I already had a lot of questions of, so what actually is the release structure of this game? Yeah. We have a beta coming out next week. I talked to some of the people there and I was like, so wait, why does there need to be a beta for this type of game? And they're like, oh, because, they didn't really have an answer. And I was like, okay, what's the release strategy in terms of, is it chapter based? Like, is it the whole thing at once? Whatever. And they're like, oh, I was like, okay, that's all kind of weird. Because what's there is really, really good. It's a 1-to-1 map layout. All the original Final Fantasy VII maps are there. They look updated, though. They look different. They're not the exact same pre-rendered backgrounds we had before, but it does the similar thing that 7 did, where there's the chibi polygonal style characters that you're moving around the map. But then when you get into the battle system, it looks a little bit higher res and nice. But the difference is here, instead of it just being like, oh, higher res meaning PS1, you actually see Polygon's character model. This is Final Fantasy VII remake status. Like,
oh, wow.
This looks beautiful. Like, it looks great. Super hype, super epic, particle effects everywhere. And then when you get into the world map area and you're moving around, when there's dialogue and story beats, it's this like almost Fire Emblem style, like hand-drawn character art with like the words coming through of what they're saying. And it was just a really, really great mobile adaptation of this game, and I think it's going to be really valuable to people like you that want to get caught up with the Final Fantasy story for Rebirth, or that maybe don't want to dive fully into the original game but want to get a lot of that experience. Sure. The battle system is a twist on the original 7's battle system. It's active time battle, but it is more mobile friendly, where there's kind of a bar at the bottom of the screen, and then there's like your different moves require different amounts of bars. Super simple to understand. It feels very much like an old school turn-based Final Fantasy, but not even turn-based. It's active time battle. It's like, it's active. It's cool, but it is kind of you just waiting for bars to fill up and then hit the buttons and stuff. But I was very, very impressed with what I saw. Getting through the Scorpion battle at the end of the demo that I played, it's like, yeah, this is it. Just why is it so confusing? And at some point I was like, I just don't get it. Like, why is it confusing when it's single player? Like, well, it's not just single player. There's multiplayer. And I was like, okay, and I walked away. Nice like, come on. I don't know what's going on there. But keep your eye on it. There's something here. I'm telling you.
I like that you bring up an iOS mobile game, because that's what I'm going to talk about as well. I'm going to talk about the one, the only, Monster Hunter Now. Niantic's Monster Hunter game is, I do enjoy a Monster Hunter since reviewing them on the PSP, Monster Hunter World, Rise, yada, yada, yada. I popped over there and did that one because mainly like, okay, cool. It's another Pokemon Go, right? Of course, we've seen that with Hogwarts. We've seen that with Ghostbusters. We've seen a whole bunch of them come and go.
A Marvel one coming?
Is there one? I didn't know about that.
Oh, Les announced it last year.
Oh my gosh, what am I capturing? Am I capturing the heroes? Am I putting them in cages?
Good question.
Okay, great. This one, of course, you're going out, you're fighting the monsters, you're doing it. And it's like exactly kind of what you'd expect, but then they put a bunch of nice little twists on it, I think. As somebody who used to play a lot of Pokemon Go, I know you play Pokemon Go now, right? They have meeting spots instead of Pokestops. There's in the different sections, too, of like desert, swamp, grasslands, or whatever. But the deal here is that every day, the sections change. So they're building this that if you wanted to play at your house, you could play at your house and still be, it's not like you're never going to get to the desert unless you go across town or something like that. Cool. I thought that was nice. They're also, of course, this is a more active game. It's not about capturing the monsters. It is about fighting them, hunting them, right? So, you tap on the Great Jagra, you get in there to fight. You tap anywhere on the screen to attack it with your weapon of choice. And again, they have my dual blades. They have, sword and shield. They have bow guns, whatever you want to equip before you go in there. You tap to attack, right? And then you have to use a swipe to dodge their attacks. It's way more engaging than Pokemon Go. It's not like as engaging as Monster Hunter, obviously, because you're just tapping the screen, you're swiping and trying not to die. But what I thought was interesting about it, because it is more, oh man, I need to actually be in this moment, whereas in Pokemon Go, you could walk and toss a ball pretty easily. They're doing this thing with paintballs. Do you remember paintballs from Monster Hunter? Did you ever use those?
I never played Monster Hunter.
In the old game, I mean, they're still around, but you needed them in like the PSP game, because you'd hit them with a paintball. That way, when the monster ran, you could still track them and see where they were going, right? In this one, it's really an interesting system of you hit the if I'm walking with you and we're on the way to a demo for some other game and I'm playing and I see something I want, I can enter into the battle, throw the paintball on it, and then bounce. And then whenever I want to, wherever I am, I can then open up the app and go and fight that monster wherever I am.
Oh, that's really cool.
So like you could go and tag a bunch of different monsters that you're seeing in the real world to then fight later. As you're brawling, you're building up a special attack. I had fun with it. Again, is this going to be something I play for 300 hours. Am I going to be obsessed like Andrew Goldfarb with Pokemon Go? Probably not. But I went in with very low expectations, and I was like, you know what? I'm definitely going to download this. I'm definitely going to tool around with it and see what happens. But it had a good art style. It played well. I'm down to try it when it gets
pretty sick, man. Is that Rathalos?
That might have been a Rathalos, yes.
Is that how you say it? Is that the name?
Yeah, Rathalos. You nailed it. Look at you. You're a real fan.
I
if we didn't, KindaFunny.com/you're wrong, let us know. We'll have that, and we'll tell you about that. Because first, we're going to tell you about the fact that Embracer Group is in deep trouble. Todd Howard is getting old, and Starfield is 30 frames a second. We'll have all that and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show by watching live over on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, or writing in on kindafunny.com/KFGD with the questions, comments, concerns under the Daily Video Game Sun. If you're watching live, you have a special job. Keep us honest. Go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and listening on podcast services around the globe each and every weekday. If you like what we do here, if you're new since we started doing all the SGF news and stuff, hey, why don't you go to patreon.com/kindafunny? Over on patreon.com/kindafunny, of course, a couple bucks would get you each and every episode of Kinda Funny Games Daily ad-free. It would get you the ability to watch the podcast live as we record them one day early, and of course, ad-free. It could get you a bevy of bonus content. That's right. If you've never subscribed to us before, for $10, you could get more than 250 exclusive episodes of content, like Kinda Feudy, Greg Way, and everything else. The Next Gen Podcast, I could go on. Only on patreon.com/kindafunny. More than anything, though, it supports us, keeps us independent, and keeps the mics and lights on. Some housekeeping for you today. It has been a huge week for youtube.com/kindafunny games and podcast services. The Xbox Showcase and Post-Show are up. The Ubisoft Showcase and Post-Show are up. The Gamescast all about SGF is up. And god damn it, so is the Capcom Live Reacts. If you want to see us go through a living fucking nightmare, it's all up on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and ad-free on patreon.com/kindafunny. Another housekeeping item for you. It's that time again. Join Mike, Nick, James, and Elise for another 90s action movie watch-along this Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. They'll be watching the 1990 Arnold Schwarzenegger classic Total Recall. Jump on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time this Wednesday to watch along with them. Tim, you have something to say, but before I was going to ad lib and I want you to know. Also, today after this stream, we're doing the damn thing. We are streaming me unlocking myself in WWE 2K23. That's right. My manager card is in WWE 2K23, my faction mode. It is a limited time live event. There are 2 days left, and today will be the day we go in and unlock Greg Miller to manage my faction team.
So cool, Greg.
Tim, what do you?
You have not unlocked it yet. This is
I've been at SGF.
This is wild.
We're gonna go in there.
A big moment, everybody.
A huge moment for little Greggy.
I was just gonna say that in addition to us killing it on the game side of things, the Kinda Funny side is also popping off with a lot of really cool stuff. But there are 2 in reviews this week. Transformers: Rise of the Beast is already posted live right now in all the normal places, and then on Friday our Flash in review. Oh my god. That scared me way more than it should have, everybody. I want to let you know. But yeah, Flash will be going up on Friday. So 2 in reviews, 1 already live, 1 coming out on Friday. Transformers: Rise of the Beast, DC EU's The Flash. A little bit of Tim, a little bit of Greg in your life.
Fucking wait.
Yeah?
Michael goddamn Keaton in the DC EU, in the Snyderverse.
Yeah. We'll see where it ends, Greg.
We'll see where it ends,
excited.
Ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait. I'm very stoked. I'm winded too, of course. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Casey Andrew, Delaney Twining, and of course, James Hastings. Today we're brought to you by Honey, Rocket Money, and thank you to Amazon Gaming and Summer Game Fest for partnering with us this showcase season. Go to amazon.com/summergamefest all summer long to discover the top new and upcoming games. You know, when I was running, I was like, this ain't that hard. I should do this more. And then it's the aftermath of like, oh, I guess I'll hold my breath while I ran. That was a problem. Let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Kevin, I need you to keep going for a second. Time for some news. 8 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
Kevin, thank you for that. That was helpful. I love you. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, brace for Embracer layoffs. This is Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon. This is a long one, but an important one, and we're going to get into it. Swedish gaming conglomerate Embracer Group, which has been rapidly gobbling up game studios and popular IP over the past few years, will undergo a major restructuring that will require the publisher to close multiple studios and cancel several games. The news comes weeks after it reported that a deal worth $2 billion in income to the company had unexpectedly fallen through. CEO Lars Wingfors announced the restructure in an open letter alongside an investor webcast and a news release on Tuesday morning. He said the restructure is split into 3 phases and is expected to continue until March 2024. The nature of these phases is unclear, and under the general guise of cost savings and consolidation to reduce debt below 10 billion Swedish krona, which equates roughly to $930 hair in my mouth, $1 million. Still there. Matthew Karch, the now former Saber Interactive CEO and current interim chief operating officer, said, however, that the first phase of cost saving will be quote unquote immediate and noticeable. This means that an unknown number of Embracer Group's 17,000 staff will be laid off as part of the process. Neither Wingfors nor Embracer Group have detailed when specific closures or layoffs will happen. Polygon has reached out to the publisher for more information. Quote, Embracer currently engages close to 17,000 people, and while that number will be lower by the end of the year, it is too early to give an exact forecast on this, Wingfors said in the letter. Karch said the studios to be closed are quote-unquote underperforming or not creating games, quote, up to our standard, end quote. Embracer Group said that the impacted projects have, quote, not yet been announced and have low projected returns on investment. Embracer Group owns the rights to both Tomb Raider and The Lord of the Rings. It acquired Tomb Raider when it purchased Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal from Square Enix in 2022. That year, Embracer Group bought the licensing rights to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit by buying rights holder Middle-earth Enterprises. Early this year, Embracer announced that it has 5 mystery Lord of the Rings games in development by external partners. Gollum 2. The implication of the news release is that any announced game is quote-unquote safe from the restructuring plan, or at least will not be canceled. Karch in the webcast added a caveat, saying that the games canceled have, quote, for the most part, end quote, not been announced. Following the announcement, Crystal Dynamics put out a statement on Twitter to confirm neither its upcoming Tomb Raider game nor Perfect Dark will be impacted by the restructuring. Quote, We know we need to be exploiting Lord of the Rings in a very significant fashion and turn that into one of the biggest gaming franchises in the world, Karch said. And that's obviously something that we're going to do. That's obviously something that we're going to be doing. That's what it says. That's a much better use of resources than some of the other projects that some of our teams have been working on.
I'm going to stop you right there, Greg.
That's a much better use of resources than some of the other projects that some of our teams have been working on.
Let me repeat this whole bit one more time, a third time, just so you can hear this, okay? Quote, we know we need to be exploiting Lord of the Rings in a very significant fashion and turn that into one of the biggest gaming franchises in the world. And that's obviously something we're going to do. That's a much better use of resources than some of the other projects that some of our teams have been working on. You can continue, and we'll get back to
We will get back. You want to highlight that for me while we get going? Continuing on with this great article here from Nicole. Embracer Group's 2 big acquisitions are not alone. The publisher also owns Saints Row publisher Deep Silver, and has spent the last few years consolidating the video game industry by buying up studios. Since 2020, Embracer Group has acquired or founded well over 50 game studios and offices. It's part of a larger trend of seismic acquisitions and consolidations in the span of a few years that saw Grand Theft Auto publisher Take-Two Interactive buying mobile giant Zynga, Microsoft's planned acquisition of Activision Blizzard for a staggering $68.9 billion, and Sony's buyout of Destiny 2 developer Bungie. Embracer Group has also expanded into comics and tabletop games, buying Dark Horse Comics and Asmodee, respectively. It appears, however, that Embracer Group's rampant buying spree may have happened too fast. No. You think? And I'm not making fun of you, Nicole, but and now it's struggling to keep up with the responsibility and cost of its purchases. Embracer Group had a $2 billion mystery partnership planned to help bail it out, on top of its $1 billion investment from Saudi Arabia's investment fund that fell through at the last minute. That news forced Embracer Group to lower its earnings projection down to a range of I don't like the wording here, but from $655 million to $840 million. In its recent earnings report in May, Embracer Group said the previous financial year, was challenging due to lackluster reception to notable releases and game delays, despite net sales being up 121%, roughly $3.5 billion.
Another quote I want to put out there, Greg, is the mystery partnership planned. Embracer Group had a $2 billion mystery partnership plan to help bail it out on top of its $1 billion investment from Saudi Arabia's investment. The fact that there's another one that's not Saudi Arabia that's a mystery, like, this cannot read shadier in any way, shape, or form. Let's go back to what we both were mind blown by here, which is the exploiting Lord of the Rings, and specifically then the much better use of resources than some of the other projects that some of our teams have been working on. Everything being said here, there could be facts. Like, that's business, that's reality, that's how things go. This is not how you talk about people in this way, in this fashion, when you're doing PR about this news story. This is horrible.
Yeah. We know we need to be exploiting Lord of the Rings in a very significant fashion. There can be a translation thing there, right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, like, I think exploiting, you understand we should be making a lot of fucking Lord of the Rings games. Exploiting, obviously, to us, and I think in just general definition of the word, is incredibly negative. So, yeah, not a great word choice. But again, translation, you say something up there, it's not your first language or something of that effect.
And they're not wrong.
And I don't know. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, right, like that. And that's obviously something we're going to do. It's much better the use sources. I mean, like, this is, if you remember, I was on the Games Daily the day all of this broke, where we watched the Lars interview of him talking to the thing, and he was all like beaten down and all this stuff. And as I said then, I'm not trying to dance on their grave. I do not wish Embracer Group harm. I'm not anything like that. It's just, this has been the concern since this started. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things of, I was starting to feel like I was the crazy one. As they bought up all these studios, you know, they moved to, 17,000 people. They found or buy 50 studios. It's like, or offices. It's like, but you're putting out SpongeBob remasters? Like, I don't know, what is going on here? Like, how are you not THQing this right now? In the old THQ, which they were before they changed all their fucking names and stuff. Like, it's been mind-boggling to see them hurtling down this path. And again, not putting out the AAA banger thing. Like, you know, we're talking about Deep Silver game, right? We're talking about Saints Row that underperformed. We're talking about a bunch of stuff that isn't hitting the way I have to imagine they thought it was, but I also can't imagine why they thought these games would hit this way to then do this. And so you really get to the situation where we have this $2 billion, and as they called it, industry-changing deal. It was going to, you know, revolutionize the industry and everything, and that falls through. And what I take away from that as an onlooker is that this has been the Embracer Group the entire time. Mm-hmm. Of it is Lars on the front of the train laying the track as it goes. And finally, something happened where you drop the rail, and now we're doing this, and now it's going to become painfully obvious that they need to put more track down, but now the people who wanted to work with them for the tracks before don't want to work, and that's where this entire thing combusts.
I mean, we've seen this before in different industries, maybe not to this scale and this much of an international endeavor, but when you look at what they did, and especially when it seems like the strategy is clearly becoming here, everything you're saying felt inevitable from the beginning. But what didn't feel inevitable to me was things like Lord of the Rings and Tomb Raider. Like, them getting the big ones, some big guns in video games, with Tomb Raider being a video game first franchise, sure. Lord of the Rings having many, many storied entries in video games, hits and misses, but they had major, major wins over the years. It is pretty clear that they just have spent the last decade or however long they've been around, kind of proving to investors, look, we make games. There's a lot of stuff going on. Like, money.
Games is the biggest video. Games is bigger than the movie and entertainment industry combined. And there's money in these hills.
True.
There's money in these
hills.
It's
all true. All of that. But then it's like, cool. Now that you have that, it's like, cool. They buy and invest in the bigger stuff, and then let the smaller stuff die or change or whatever it is. And it's like, yeah, this is mismanagement 101, all of this. But I do feel like we all saw this coming, and I think that it's pretty clear as day. But when you're talking to somebody that's not looking into this and doesn't understand the industry and just understands money and moving money around
games
to
make
more money.
These people are making a lot of games.
Yep.
We're not sitting there going like, well, no, certain games make a lot of money.
Exactly. So that's where we're at now. And it's like, yeah, 17,000 people. And can you imagine, Greg?
Can you imagine, Greg? Pause real quick. You said 17,000. I do want to get a 2-year wrongs in here while we are live. Mr. Hawks claims that I might have put the wrong word somewhere. They're not laying off 17,000.
Yeah.
They employ 17,000. I'm just making sure if you heard that, you understand. They employ 17,000 people. We don't know how many they're laying off. And then Kebab points out Battle for Bikini Bottom was a remake, not a remaster. Thank you. That's it.
There we go. Of that 17,000 people, let's not even talk about Embracer for a second. Imagine working in video games right now, whether it's media, whether it's development, publishing, any which way, and waking up every morning scared that it might be the day you're laid off, that it might be the day your friends are laid off.
You only have to worry about this through March 2024 as the many phases roll out. If you want to get even, again, great reporting by Nicole to boil down a very complicated story. I went and read Lars Wingford's actual email, I want to say, but the letter he put up, the open letter. I want to read these 2 paragraphs that came back to back in it, right? It is painful to see talented team members leave. Our people are what make up the very fabric of Embracer. I understand and respect that many of you will be worried about your own position, and I don't have all the answers to all the questions. I want to be clear that the decisions about this program were not taken lightly. So again, to your point, you're one of these studios, your game isn't announced, even though I'll tell you right now, as a student of the game, even if your game's announced, you are not safe.
Yeah.
No one is safe right now on what this is going to be. Anyways, then it goes to this. These are sequential. I am asking all our managers to lead and act with compassion, respect, and integrity. Throughout each phase and wherever possible, we will work to ensure that affected team members receive information first. Where we can, we will try to provide opportunities for our colleagues to transition onto other projects. It's important to note that while we are removing roles in some companies, we will continue to hire in others. We know, understand, and respect that this is a challenging time for every person impacted. For me, communication and transparency are key, but it's also an increasingly difficult challenge in matters such as this program.
All of that is true. Here's the other thing that's true, though, Greg. They're not going to find out first from them. It's going to find out from a leaked email.
Jason fucking Schreier is going to have a news report on it and get told something, and somebody who's talking to Lars or they're targeting this and yada, yada, yada. So that's not me being mad at Jason.
No, not at all.
Jason fucking Schreier, the fucking man.
This whole fucking thing, it's like, this is how this is going. But like to what I was getting at here is like the whole entire games industry right now wakes up every morning scared that today might be the day. Yeah. There are now 17,000 people that not just might be scared, are scared because they know that it's going to happen to them. I have friends over at Microsoft, and a similar thing happened a couple months back where they were just like, by a certain date, Microsoft's going to be laying off X amount of people. But we're not saying who yet. We don't know yet, whatever. We're just preparing everybody because that's how money works and stockholders and all that stuff. Guess what? My friends are terrified. Yeah. They ended up being fine, I think, for now. I don't fucking know. But it's like, talking to them, it's like there's this fear of God. That is not a good working environment for anybody. That's not a good lifestyle for anybody. And it's because people are mismanaging from every single step of the way. If you're going to get acquired, if you're going to acquire somebody, like, I don't know, I just feel like you need to kind of have that on your conscious of what you're doing. Like
100%.
How many people you're affecting and then the decisions you made. And like what pisses me off. Sorry, let me go off for 1 second, Greg, because I want to be
everybody. Tim's going off. Give him the one, Kev.
I just feel like it is, and I say this as a business owner, it is your responsibility to take care of your team and to make sure that every single addition you make to your team is somebody that you have on your shoulders, that you are looking out for, that you are going to make sure they're going to be okay. And if things are bad, you got to figure things out. You got to figure things out. And it stresses me the fuck out, but I fucking do it. I understand that we are 11 people. I understand that they are 17,000 people. We're never going to be 17,000 people. We also don't make video games. I get that there's a lot of differences, but the point remains, the moment you're looking at people as numbers and pawns, which I imagine, and I could be wrong about this, the people we're talking about, from day one, we're looking at it that way. That's how you get to this bloat. And then you sell to make money and you to do all this stuff. It's disgusting. It's nasty. And it's human beings being treated as numbers. That is inevitable when you get to these things. And now all of a sudden, when a ton of people do that and they're all just selling to each other in this acquisition hellscape that we're in, it all ends up poorly. acquisitions could be a good thing. Different teams acquiring each other, working together to make better products, to fill gaps and fill holes. But those acquisitions need to be made with the same intent as when we hire employees. We're going to acquire you and take care of you. We're going to fill these gaps. There might be some redundancies, and you got to look into that and figure that out. Life isn't perfect. There's always going to be some issues with that stuff. But it feels like there's no regard for that at all.
You nail it. I think, this is the end product of gluttony and greed. That was the idea here, right? I'm sure as Embracer starts to acquire more and more companies, you get more and more people interested in wanting to work, and you have this thing, and you can go and you can pitch people of like, hey, we're going to, make all these Lord of the Rings. We're going to buy this license and then spread it over these things, and it'll make sense because we can have a Lord of the Rings game every quarter in 2025 or something, right? Or whatever you want to spread it out to. To remind you, in terms of the parent groups, and I'll go in and then into some of the games or companies I should say they own. You have Amplifier Game Invest, CDE Entertainment, which is Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal. You have Coffee Stain Holdings, which of course is Coffee Stain. You have Gearbox Entertainment, of course, Gearbox Software in there, along with all the other Gearbox studios. You have PlayOn, of course, PlayOn, another one that's like Deep Silver. It has a whole bunch of different people in here. Vertigo Games, you can get into all sorts of stuff there. Warhorse Studios. Then you have the Saber Group, which is Aspire, which is Saber itself, with Saber Interactive, which is Sandbox Strategies, which is a PR firm, which is Tripwire Interactive, Zen Studios. Then there's THQ Nordic, of course, which is you dial into what they all do, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff under them that you have seen games from. Powwow Entertainment, Rainbow Studios. Then, of course, there's mobile games, DECA Games, Easy Brain. Then the tabletop thing we're talking about, Asmodee. Then, of course, entertainment services. They have Dark Horse Media, which is Dark Horse Comics. And then also Embracer Free Mode, which I'm not familiar with, but has stuff like Quantic Lab under it and things to that nature. So it's like, back to it of like, this is going to get so much worse. Like, this is the announcement that something's coming, and then even Lars and it's like, to remove ourselves from this is the product of greed and this and that, the other thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, I do, and I'm about to give credit that I don't understand business and I don't understand financial calls and everything. Their hand obviously was forced by the financial call falling through, right? Because it fell through the night before their earnings call. So he had to come out and he had to take it on the chin. He had to do this stuff. I assume to some degree you have to do that here as well. But I do appreciate, to a degree, as shitty as it is, also saying like, listen, I know you're worried. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's a shitty response, but it's an honest response. So it's like,
at least it's not a lie. You're right. At least it's not a lie.
It's like, I don't know what to do with that information. Again, you nailed everything of how we got here and why people should be mad and why I'd be terrified if I was working these places. But again, like, it's what I said when we read the article. I was like, layoffs will be coming, studio closure will be coming. Now we're here. And again, I think you can't take their word at all. So to be like, oh, well, an announced game is fine. If you're floundering here and you are going to exploit Middle Earth, the first thing I would do is, well, what can we sell? That matters? And I would look to Crystal Dynamics, and I would look to Tomb Raider, and I would talk to, I guess, a PlayStation and EA or whoever has deep pockets to get into that kind of thing and go. I would talk, like, Gearbox obviously has Gearbox Publishing as well, but Gearbox is Borderlands. Borderlands is an IP that carries value, but Borderlands is a game that comes out, we're lucky, you know what I mean? Every 7 years now, every 6 years, it's like, you got to go in there. And if you're trying to make dollars and cents right now, you do that. Of course, you risk, hey man, don't sell the golden goose. Don't sell the thing that could actually save you. And you could close all these other studios that we are like, I don't know what they make, or some AA game, maybe even like smaller games that aren't just good. Like, there's a million ways to slice this, but I think if they're talking about exploiting Middle Earth, then I think they're going to probably end up sticking to that because they think there's money in those hills. And again, when they find out how hard it is to make games that are good and how long it takes and how much money it takes to invest in these things.
Let's see what the story is when there's 3 more golems,
Yep.
And like, again, that's not talking shit about the devs. It's talking shit about the people running everything that gets to the point that Gollum is made. And we're literally talking about this right here. It's not just a hypothetical of like, oh, it might be. It's like, no, this is what we're talking about. That's the scariest bit of all this, is them doubling down on that. I don't expect we're going to get Shadow of Mordor from this, Greg.
No. Yeah. No. And that's what's... It's not that I found it hard to believe in what Embracer Group was trying to do when they were doing it. And now that, again, the train is teetering and tottering here, I'm not like, well, they're going to drop all this weight and then be this redemption story.
And I do, because we're getting real negative on this in a lot of ways, I want to explicitly point out how many amazing people are there, like good people that are being affected by this, and like people that are to no choice of their own in any way. Crystal Dynamics, how many people do we know at Crystal Dynamics that are now part of this conversation? Like, that's so damn unfortunate that that's just how this works, because it is now being part of this thing that we look at as like people that just simply do not get video games. They only understand money and then fucking things around.
Spreadsheets.
Because this is the same group that 2 years ago, I think it was, during Summer Game Fest, put out that showcase.
Yeah.
Potentially the worst showcase in the history of video games.
Yeah.
That's how much they understand games.
Yeah. It's going to be, I don't want to say I guess it'll be fascinating, but again, like, even as we sit here and go, man, now we are waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I shouldn't even say the other shoe, because it will be the other shoes. It will be a slow drip over the next year, because I don't even believe it'll stop in March 2024. Over the next year of studios getting layoffs and closed and all this stuff, and it's not a good time for that. But again, this is the repercussion of betting big on something and not understanding maybe what you're buying or what exactly you're doing. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we have been long on the tooth, so I'll tell you right now about patreon.com/kindafunny. Over on patreon.com/kindafunny, you help us stay independent and not be bought up by some big conglomerate. And of course, you can get the shows ad-free. Of course, I thought, Mike, you have the day off. Why are you here? God fucking damn it. You go over to patreon.com/kindafunny. You, of course, can get all the episodes ad-free of Kinda Funny Games Daily. You can get every podcast ad-free. You can watch us record the podcast live as we record them a day early before anybody else. You can get dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of exclusive episodes all over there, like Kinda Funny, Gregway, you name it. It's all up on patreon.com/kindafunny. But most important for right now, you can go there to get Kinda Funny Games Daily ad-free. But since you're not there, here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon and Summer Game Fest. We are in an absolutely stacked year of video game releases, and you can find all of them on Amazon.com/SummerGameFest. I hope that you found a spare few hundred hours to play all the amazing games that have come out this year already. Gamers have been eating good this year, but this is the only place you want to be. Amazon.com/SummerGameFest, because guess what? This summer, there's going to be even more exciting announcements coming through of so many more video games that are about to be on all of your favorite consoles, like Final Fantasy 16, Armored Core 6, Diablo 4, Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, Exo Primal, Assassin's Creed Mirage. The list goes on and on. You can go to Amazon.com/SummerGameFest all summer long to discover the top new and upcoming games as soon as they go up for pre-order, or you can go check out the website now for everything you might have missed so far this year. Again, that's Amazon.com/SummerGameFest for all of your video game needs. Today's episode is sponsored by PayPal Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. But did you know it only takes a few seconds to get it? That means if you go to add it on your laptop or iPhone right now, you could be done before the ad read is even over. You know how good it feels to check something off of your to-do list, so hey, let's get to check-in. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. So imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite websites out there, and when you check out, the Honey button appears, and all that you have to do is click Apply Coupon. Kinda Funny's been using Honey for years. It's literally saved us thousands of dollars on tech, food, costumes, ton of stuff. Honey doesn't just work on desktop. It works on your iPhone too. You just activate it on Safari on your phone, and you get to save on the go. Getting Honey seriously only takes a few seconds, and by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. Get PayPal Honey for free at joinhoney.com/kindafunny. That's joinhoney.com/kindafunny. We all love gobbling up content, and we have an understanding of what subscriptions we use. Or do we? Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions when the actual total is closer to $200. That's right. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each and every month on subscriptions you might not even know about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and finance. It helps lower your bills all in one place. Rocket Money has saved some of us here at KindaFunny a ton of money, and it can help you too. Rocket Money also helps you manage all your finance in one place, and it automatically can help categorize your expenses so you can easily track your budget in real time. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. One more time, rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. Rocket Money, kind of funny.
As we warned you when we went live, the Xbox Extended Showcase is happening against us. We said we would cover some of the break. You said you wanted some Hi-Fi Rush stuff, and apparently a Hi-Fi Rush update trailer has happened. We're going to do a live reaction right now.
Really excited.
As Kevin preps that, and we get in here.
Prepped.
It's what?
Prepped.
It's prepped. Let's do it. Let's go.
Let's go. Rush, Greg.
The Hi-Fi Rush. New arcade challenge update. 2 new game modes. Power up, and BPM Rush. You want a turbo mode? BPM Rush. Oh, wow. Defeat enemies to crank up the beat higher and higher.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Power up, tower up.
What happened now?
Chai is downgraded. A new rhythm tower appears. Power up, tower up. Restore Chai's abilities while keeping the beat alive. Mega tough new enemies join the fray. Beat challenges to unlock rewards. Call Cinnamon or Smidge into battle. I don't know what that guy's name is. CMNN. Plus new accessories, Chai t-shirts, 808 looks, stickers. Coming soon. Advance notice this time. All action, all awesome. God, what a beautiful game this is. Oh, no. Cel-shaded look there. Coming July 5th.
July 5th, cool. Arcade Challenge update. This is the lowest end
with Game Pass
of what I wanted. I was talking a lot about this on our predictions episode where I didn't think we'd ever going to get any type of additional content for this game. But I was like, if we do, I hope it's not just, here's some bonus modes and stuff. I was hoping it was going to be here's a chapter with a big boss and stuff. So a little let down by this, but very excited that this game is being supported anymore. Can't wait for a sequel. I absolutely love this game. And I feel like in any other year, this would be probably like my top 3 game of the year. I feel like now that it's slowly getting bumped down, it's still going to be in that top 10, but it's just because this year's so good. If you haven't played Hi-Fi Rush, you have to give it a shot. It is so unique, so fantastic. It's on Game Pass, so good. And I love that Xbox has a game like this because it's very different than anything that they have.
Number 2 on the Roper Report, we are not going to waste much time on. The FTC is looking to block the Blizzard-Microsoft transaction. This is Jordan Novet and Lauren Feiner over at CNBC. The Federal Trade Commission on Monday applied for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction seeking to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard before the deal's July 18th deadline. The FTC said it fears that should Microsoft be allowed to buy Activision, Microsoft would have the power to quote-unquote withhold or degrade Activision's gaming products through price, game quality, experience on competitors' offerings, blah, 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 blah. There you go. It's going to keep getting pushed around, and eventually it'll happen or it won't happen, but there you go, right? Yep. Do we have anything left to say about this?
No, we don't. It seems like it's getting closer. There's a date, there's a deadline, but even that deadline's just, if not by this, then something else happens.
Let's get to some fun stuff then. Number 3, I wanted to say random SGF tidbits, but I said ransom, RG. I'm not holding anyone for ransom. Since we've been gone, of course, we've been live reacting. We've been in LA playing video games. We've been covering video games, but not in a Kind of Funny Games Daily sense. I assume you caught all the other coverage. Otherwise, this show would be 3 hours long as we try to recap everything. But since we even talked about the live reaction stuff, there's been these kind of tidbits. Like Starfield will be locked at 30 frames per second on both Xbox consoles, 4K for Series X, 1440p for Series S. Tim, do you care?
Yes, I do care. I think this is good. I think that them coming out and being like, this is what it's going to be is a great thing. I think they've made some missteps in being like 4K 60 and like advertising that way. I mean, Redfall, lest I bring up. You get it. You know what I'm talking about? But no, this is great. Get out there, get ahead of it. Like, I think that there's a lot being said that I imagine we'll get into here. But actually, maybe not. But them saying that
Do you want that question? I thought we already kind of answered. I can pop back in for you.
No, I don't know what's going on here, but they did say in the same interview, I saw a clip from Jeff Grubb and Giant Bomb and all that it was Phil Spencer. I think it was Phil Spencer saying that that at this current moment that Starfield would ship with less bugs than any previous Bethesda game.
Nice,
right? And all of that is big words for sure. But I think that it's building a narrative for what this game is. People expecting this on hardware that came out when it did, at the price mark it did, to be hitting 4K 60 for this type of game. It's utterly ridiculous. And I understand people might get upset about how the box is marketed. When I look at my PS5 box and it says 8K on that thing, it's like, you motherfuckers. That sucks. But getting ahead of it, it's going to be 30. Good for them. Let's hope it hits it.
Yeah. I mean, that game looked positively incredible. And I liked what I saw from how it played there. And we were talking about it, like what we're seeing and where we're seeing it from. I don't care in this instance. This isn't what it is for me. So I'm all about that. Another tidbit for you is that Persona 3 Reload is going to have the new English dub. They're going to have a new voice cast. It looks like it's going to be the entire thing. It wasn't an official announcement. It was just the new voice actors putting up their little cards. So that's cool if you're a Persona person, like Barrett was when he put this in here. And then your other tidbit is that Elder Scrolls 6 might be Todd Howard's last Elder Scrolls. I don't buy it. This is from the IGN interview, though. The quote goes, that is one where ... I probably shouldn't say this, but if I do the math, I'm not getting any younger. How long do people play Elder Scrolls for? That may be the last one I do. I don't know, end quote. Todd Howard will be making Elder Scrolls till he dies. Don't worry about it. You'll get another Elder Scrolls from Todd Howard. This started on my SGF tidbit news, but has since bopped out here to number 4 on your Roper Report. Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom Liberty will add a new ending to the base game. This is Ryan Dinsdale at IGN.com. Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom Liberty expansion adds a whole new ending to the base game when it launches this September. Game director Gabe Amanatelego told WCCF Tech that while Phantom Liberty itself has multiple endings and narrative paths to choose from, making certain decisions within it can cause a 6th mainline ending in Cyberpunk 2077. It has quote-unquote different endings based on how things play out, he said. Quote, then, based on the ending within Phantom Liberty, you can unlock a new ending in the base game. This ending, quote, has to do with your new relationships and characters and situations, end quotes. He added to this in an IGN interview as part of Summer of Gaming. Quote, as the trailer shows, Songbird brings you in with the promise of being able to handle your issue with the relic. It will affect outcomes in the base game, and the story of Phantom Liberty within itself has multiple different variations of endings, end quote.
Hell yeah, man. I'm so happy that this is happening, that they were getting this redemption story. Like, we've seen it only a handful of times.
Yeah.
It sucks that it started where it was. Like, unacceptable. But look, Phantom Liberty. Everything we've heard sounds like glowing.
I'm stoked for it, man. I really was. The closer we got to this, like I was playing Diablo with Jen last night, and I went over on my main PS4 and started downloading Cyberpunk again because I got to get in there and get my sea legs back and see where I left my character. And I know Transmog's been added and yada, yada, yada. There's a million things I want to do to get ready for Phantom Liberty to get in there and go for it. So, and everybody liked what they played, so that's great.
And the chat saying Paris Lily is on the Xbox Showcase right now. Congratulations to our boy.
And so since Paris Lily is on the Xbox Showcase right now, I will welcome all the people who collect over from that, who did not want to see Paris. I thank you and I respect you for being part of my team. Number 5 on the Roper Report is SGF Good News. It's going to return. Jeff Keighley tweeted one of those weird third-person tweets he does. After a record-setting 2023, we are excited to share some news. Summer Game Fest will return in June 2024, including our live showcase event hosted by Jeff Keighley and hashtag Summer Game Fest Playdays from I Am 8-Bit. Stay tuned for more details in the coming months.
Hell
yeah.
Yes, man. There was always something excited of walking out of E3 and seeing that big banner of E3 will return with the new dates. It was just like, oh, wait, we'll be back. This was the best and worst week of my life, and I can't wait to do it again next year. This is different, though, man. Like, I've said this 1,000 times this week. My soul feels rejuvenated this week from Summer Games Fest, man. I feel just filled with passion and excitement and energy to be around everybody, to play all these games, to be able to talk to everyone that I did. And Jeff and I Am 8-Bit did, I think, a bang-up job. I could not be more impressed with what the Playdays event was and how condensed this entire week was. Sure, every showcase might not have had what we were looking for, this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
I think
But that excitement of being there for us.
Easily, this was the most easily digestible summer gaming week that we have ever had. And I really commend that. And I think that it was a very enjoyable event that was well-paced and well-executed in terms of us being able to cover it comfortably.
Yeah.
And we're not alone. Talking to so many people, there's so many different media outlets, they felt the same, that this one was different. So congratulations to the teams over there.
Very stoked about that. Great job, Jeff. Congratulations on another fantastic one. Tell me how the Flash was. Number 6 on the Roper Report. Pragmata has been delayed. This came from the terrible Capcom showcase that you can watch us cry through on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames. There was a trailer that got us all excited that there's finally something happening, and then it was just a little thing saying the game's delayed. It was accompanied then with the following statement over on the show that was then tweeted out as well. To all our expectant fans, it is with a heavy heart that we must further postpone the release of Pragmata. Our team is currently hard at work making the best game that we possibly can, but we need more time. We will continue to do our best to ensure that the final product is one that is worthy of your patience. Thank you for your continued support, the Pragmata development team. Go get them.
This continues to be one of those unicorn games. We'll see it one day. I hope that it's awesome. I really think that Capcom are in a great era right now. They've returned. They're putting out hit after hit after hit. Couple dud here and there, but it doesn't matter. Hit after hit after hit. And I think that new IP, I think they still got it in them. Like, I feel like a lot of their hits recently have been the Monster Hunters, the Resident Evils, things like that, and Street Fighter. Known quantities, but getting something new out there, I love that Capcom is has enough teams and enough talent to be able to try different things, and I'm rooting for them.
I'm rooting for everybody in the video game industry, even Embracer Group. Number 7 on the Roper Report is a fun little thing that we can run through here from GameSpot. Darren has the report that Titanfall 3 was 10 months into development when it was canceled. But it's actually like it sounds bad, and then it gets in, like, they decided to cancel on their own because they're like, oh man, Apex is going to be great. I like this. This is actually a very interesting look at video game development, which is why even in a long show, I want to read everything put in here. Respawn Entertainment was hard at work on Titanfall 3 for 10 months before the project was canceled so that efforts could be focused on Apex Legends, a former developer at the studio has claimed. Speaking to the Burnett Network, speaking to the Burnett Work. Oh, I get what it is. Guy's probably Burnett and then the network. Burnett Work. That's clever. Former Titanfall and Call of Duty designer Mohammed Alavi said that the game was well into development before Respawn pulled the plug on it. Quote, Titanfall 2 came out, did what it did, and we were like, okay, we're going to make Titanfall 3, Alavi said. This is via PC Games N. Quote, we worked on Titanfall 3 for 10 months in earnest. We had the tech for it and multiple missions going, but I'll make this clear. It was incrementally better. It wasn't revolutionary, end quote. Alavi added that in the end, a combination of the multiplayer team struggling to make the multiplayer mode accessible and the battle royale genre finding explosive success pushed Respawn to enter that genre. A prototype was made, company-wide interest was ignited, and the studio began working on Apex Legends. Quote, we came back from break and we talked about it, and we were like, we need to pivot. We literally canceled Titanfall 3 ourselves because we're like, we can make this game and it'll be Titanfall 2 plus a little bit better, or we can make this thing, which is clearly amazing, end quote. Respawn's decision eventually led to the rise of one of the most popular battle royale games on the block, as Apex Legends has been a mainstay in the genre since it first launched in 2019. Titanfall fans still regularly have called for Titanfall 3 to be put into production, but between its work with an upcoming Star Wars FPS, that's reportedly inspired by Dark Forces, supervision of another Star Wars game at EA, and continuous development on Apex Legends, Respawn has had its hands busy.
Being a Star Wars fan and a video game fan's real good right now, Greg.
So good, yeah. Oh
Being a Titanfall
Outlaws?
fan, a little less so.
Yeah, but I'm a Titanfall fan. Like, I love Titanfall 1. I made Alfredo train me in first-person shooters. I was all about that game, and I, don't get me wrong, loved Titanfall 2, but I don't think it hit the same way for me as Titanfall 1 did in terms of just being a multiplayer, this is what it's going to be. And for me, more than anything, it's the fact that I love this look into development of like, yo, we are working on something, and we know it is not great. It is better, but it's not astounding. This thing we just prototyped is awesome. It wouldn't be, and they chase that. That's a great story.
Oh, it's a great story. But the thing is, Titanfall 1 versus Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2, that campaign.
Oh my God, the fucking campaign. Who fucking cares about campaigns and first-person shooters?
I do.
Well, then buy more
so
and play
much.
more then, you know what I mean?
But that's the thing, though. Titanfall 2 was so damn good. I'm still hopeful with all of this. Going right off of what I was saying about Capcom, I can say the same thing about EA. I can definitely say it about Respawn. Look at them. We talk about Respawn the same way we talk about Insomniac, where, damn, they're putting things out and they're super high quality. Everybody loved Titanfall 2 that played it. Everybody's loving Apex Legends. I feel like at the end of the day, the delayed timeline is going to happen because of all this, but I think it benefits them and it will end up making a revolutionary Titanfall 3 whenever it does come out, because the money's coming in from Apex, and it's money coming in for a game that's actually high quality, that actually has a player base that wants to play that game. It's not the microtransactions of Battlefront 2 or things like that. It is really high quality experience that is being monetized correctly. For the most part, there's always going to be missteps, but overall, I think Apex is a shining example of everything working together in synergy to be a good experience and make money for people.
And getting there at the right moment.
Yep. All of them.
How many times have we seen people try to get to Battle Royale now? And it's like, dude, it's the pool's full.
Yeah.
You got to go somewhere else.
And Apex has its side of the pool. Like, it's there. I think all this leads to eventually getting a Titanfall 3 that is freaking awesome. I just don't think it's going to be anytime soon, because we are getting all these other games that are really exciting.
I think a Titanfall 3, I don't know, man. I mean, never say never in the video game industry, and obviously like a decade from now they do it. Oh, you're wrong, Greg. That's a different story, I guess. But like, I feel like it's the same people who want more resistance. Like,
I don't know. I don't think it is at all. I think it's different, especially because it's Respawn, and Respawn has only gotten bigger and cooler. Like, it means more and more and more. And like the people that were rocking there from the beginning, I told you so, motherfuckers, they're gonna show up. I think it'd be more than a Mirror's Edge.
Okay, I digress. Sequels are pretty popular. As the number 8 and final news story tells you, Diablo 4 earns more than $666 million in sales in the first 5 days, setting a new Blizzard record. Blizzard Entertainment's fastest selling game of all time blazed past $666 million in sales in less than a week since its June 6th launch, exceeding the worldwide box office of all horror movies released in 2023 combined. If Diablo 4 were a movie, it would have had the biggest launch week of 2023. They also put out a bunch of fun little stats on there. So far, combined hours played has been 276 million combined hours played for the week 1. The other one I liked was, of course, they're doing that race to 100 for hardcore players. 163 people have already hit level 100 on hardcore. The most popular class is Sorcerer, which we already knew. Deaths by the Butcher are around we'll say 5.8 million. Players killed in PvP, only 429,792. Just some great, awesome stats there. Because, God, I'll tell you what, Tim. Summer Game Fest, an amazing time. Jeff Keighley, thank you so much. Just just thank you. It's amazing. But even then, I'm like, man, I wish I was playing Diablo. Man, I wish. And me and Jen got to get back to Diablo last night, and God, it felt good. After we're doing the WWE stream here, where I'm unlocking my character. After that, we're playing Diablo here.
Oh yeah,
it's a good day to be Greg. But Tim, I'm excited to see if we ever see Titanfall 3. But that day's so far away if it's ever coming. If I wanted something more immediate, say what came to the mom and grop shops, where would I go?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the KindaFunny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, and I'm playing fast and loose because some of these things happened like yesterday, and we've been all over the place. Noble tweets, McDonald's released a new Game Boy Color game yesterday. You can play Grimace's Birthday in the browser, or you download the ROM and play it in an emulator at grimacesbirthday.com.
Love this. Super cool, super weird. When you think purple, you think of two things, Greg Miller. You think of Grimace, and you think, of course, of the Game Boy Color. Match made in heaven.
Yep. Vampire Survivors 1.5 update is out. Dead by Daylight's chapter and transmission is out. GTA Online San Andreas Mercenaries update is out. Dordagoon, Dorgon, Dog, Any. It's that game that I like that's got the watercolor and you're a lady who relives her childhood. I talk about it every time it pops up. I'm always stoked about it. It's out everywhere today.
Dordogne.
I'm super. Dordanya. Dordanya is what the singer bro says, and we'll go with that. Dordanya is out. I've thought it has looked amazing since we saw it at the first, I want to say Nintendo showcase, but it's on everything. I have not had a chance to start it because, of course, they are launching at a very terrible time to get to a new game. Dan Maku Unlimited 3 is on all the PlayStations. Oblivion Override is on PC. The Asus ROG Ally, ROG
Hell
Ally
yes,
is out.
Dude. Love seeing this thing out in the wild. Love seeing more handheld gaming computers. I'm very excited. Still waiting for that OLED though, baby. We're getting closer. getting closer.
It does. The screen looked great. I got to use Arthur Geese ally. It was really good. Great Hill Incident is on PS5 and Xbox today. Dead Island 2 has some DLC today, but it was a very confusing press release. Metal Hellsinger Essential Hit Pack launches today, and then the Final Fantasy 16 demo is out. Tim, do you recommend people play it?
1000%, man. I can't believe. I mean, I can't believe they put out the demo. Square normally does, but I can't believe people are going to be able to play what I played. Yeah. It is so good. It is so damn good. Prepare for a lot of cutscenes. Prepare for a lot of story-heavy stuff and dialogue. And dialogue's good. The story's good. The cutscenes are good. The gameplay is so good. Everyone go download this right now.
New dates for you. Gord launches August 8th on PC and consoles, and then cross-platform play for the King of Fighters 15 and free DLC character Gonitz is available June 20th. Of course, we ask people watching live on twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames to go to KindaFunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up. Timmy Buddy says we didn't screw it up, but I'm out today from... Well, I guess he's saying we did screw it up. We missed it out today. Disney Speedstorm Season 2 update, which is Toy Story, is out today. So we got that going. Congratulations, Toy Story fans. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we come to you with the nerdy news you need to know about in the video game world. You still have a week, even though I have no idea what day it is. It's still a work week for a normal one for most of you. Tomorrow on Wednesday, it's going to be Blessing and me. Thursday, it's going to be Tim and a very special guest.
Yes,
unless something horrible happens.
Yeah, we can't confirm right now because a lot of things can happen in the world, but if it happens, it's going to be awesome.
And then Friday, it is Tim and me to close out your week. Remember, of course, Kinda Funny Games Daily comes to you each and every weekday. You can watch it live on twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. You can watch it later on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames. You can watch it live on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames too. No matter where you get the show, thank you for supporting it. It means a lot to us. When we're done, we usually do these little post shows where we sit there and go through the YouTube super chats, but that's only on the YouTube video or the live stream if you're watching, because of course you can get Games Daily on podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get the show, please like, subscribe, leave a review, tell your friends, and say, hey, you did a good job. Also, you like us so much, why not go to patreon.com/KindaFunny? Over on patreon.com/KindaFunny, you can toss us a few bucks, get each and every episode of the show ad-free. Of course, you could get a bevy of bonus content. You could get all sorts of cool things like the Daily Gregways. You could get merch sometimes. You can watch the podcast before they go anywhere live. It's a great time. They're doing a live podcast today. They won't tell me what it's about. I don't know what's happening. Patreon will know, though. I did all that stuff. I nailed all that stuff. Crushed that. That was great. Remember, if you're watching live right now, we'll do the little post show, I believe.
No, we're not doing it.
We're not doing the post show.
No.
Well, Mike screwed me up when Mike came in. That's what threw me off.
Sorry, we're not doing it.
Great. There's no post show today because we gave all the Summer Game Fest kids the day off. So instead, I'm going to go straight into the lab, and me and Nick are going to play WWE 2K23, where I'm going to unlock myself in the my faction mode.
Congratulations, Greg. I know I've told you a million times, but tell you on content. It is awesome. So freaking cool.
Yeah. We're going to unlock me, and then we're going to play Diablo, and we're going to hang out in there all afternoon before you get a Kinda Funny podcast that they won't tell us about on patreon.com/KindaFunny. I think I got all of it. If you want to watch that stream later, of course, it's on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, and you have a good time. I've had a lot of fun with you, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
It's been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to all the patrons. Thank you to all the sponsors. Thanks to everybody who's done it. Remember, of course, we couldn't do this without Amazon Gaming and Summer Game Fest. Thank you for partnering us with Showcase Season. Go to amazon.com/SummerGameFest all summer long to discover the top new and upcoming games. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure to serve you.